Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. The commander-level talks between India and China begins at Chushul in eastern Ladakh for second phase of disengagement along LAC. Govind Singh Dotasara will be next Rajasthan State Congress President. Sachin Pilot and two other ministers removed from the cabinet. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says under Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi's strong political will, economic reforms are being sustained in the country. Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari inaugurates new economic corridor projects worth 20,000 crore rupees in Haryana. Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju interacts with sports ministers of 17 states and union territories to plan a collaborative roadmap. And COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 63.02%. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today said, under the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's strong political will, economic reforms are being sustained in the country. In an article in a prominent English daily, the minister said, economic reforms are a matter of continuing interest in India. She wrote, only recently, during the birth anniversary of former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, decisions taken during his time to open the Indian economy were recalled. She wrote, the PM Jan Dhan Yojana launched in 2014 has provided over 39 crore poor people the access to banking sector and its services. The Finance Minister also underlined that over 10 crore farmers are beneficiaries of PM Kisan Yojana, which directly transfers cash into their accounts. Saying market access was critical to multiplying farmers' income, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said a major step of giving interstate market access to all farmers was taken recently. She asserted farmers shall no longer be compelled to sell only to licensees within their areas. Ms. Sitharaman said, using the electronic National Agriculture Market, a farmer can seek the place and price for his product to be sold. She highlighted the recent steps to energize agriculture have resulted in amending the Essential Commodities Act, and together with changes in land leasing and terms of farming, agriculture is also seeing major reforms. Highlighting the other achievements of the government, the Finance Minister wrote, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code and setting up of the National Company Law Tribunal in 2016 provide a major relief to companies looking for an exit policy. She wrote, long-pending resolutions are happening now. Within 1 year of being re-elected in 2019, the NDA brought in major reforms in taxation. Corporate tax was reduced to 15% for new manufacturing companies and for the old to 22%. She wrote, in 1999, Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee cleared the idea of a single goods and services tax. However, it was in 2017, under PM Narendra Modi, that the Goods and Services Act came into force. The crisis in the Rajasthan State Congress deepened today as Sachin Pilot, Vishwendra Singh and Ramesh Meena, I repeat the news. In a statement released to the media, Vishwendra Singh, Cabinet Minister, Ramesh Meena, Cabinet Minister and Dipendra Shekhawat, former Speaker, have said that they have worked with dedication, devotion and service towards the party, and they are taking a stand to protect their dignity and self-respect at a time when our leader is threatened with notices from the SOG under the charges of sedition and criminal conspiracy. This is unprecedented in Indian democracy and the Congress party, for whom we have toiled with sweat and blood. Public humiliation of our leader, Mr. Pilot, is something that is totally unacceptable to us, and those responsible for meting out this treatment need to be made accountable. Congress spokesperson Randeep Surjewala announced this after the conclusion of Congress State Legislature Party meeting. Mr. Surjewala was interacting with media in Jaipur when reports came in last.
श्री सचिन पायलट जी को, श्री विश्वेंद्र सिंह जी को और श्री रमेश मीना जी को उप मुख्यमंत्री और मंत्री पद के भार से फौरी तौर से मुक्त किया जाता है। दूसरा, हमारे बहुत तजर्बेकार और काबिल साथी जिन्होंने किसान के घर में जन्म लिया, जो ओबीसी से संबंधित हैं, जिन्होंने अपनी जमीन भी जोती और कांग्रेस की जमीन भी जोती, जो एक कार्यकर्ता के तौर पर जिला कांग्रेस कमेटी के अध्यक्ष के तौर से उठकर आए और आज राजस्थान की शिक्षा मंत्री के तौर पर सेवा कर रहे हैं। गोविंद सिंह दोतासरा जी को राजस्थान प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटी का नया अध्यक्ष बनाया जाता है।
The important commander-level talks between India and China began at Chushul border post in eastern Ladakh this morning at 11:30 hours. The meeting followed by the conversation between the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Chinese Foreign Minister Mr. Wang Yi on the 5th of July. The talks mainly focus on the second phase of disengagement along the line of actual control. Union Minister for Road Transport, Highways and MSMEs Nitin Gadkari laid the foundation stone and inaugurated highway projects today in Haryana. The projects are part of new economic corridors in the state and were unveiled through a web-based program presided over by the Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal. Union Minister Gadkari inaugurated and laid the foundation stones of 11 highway projects in Haryana worth over 20,000 crore rupees today. Giving information about the project, Chairman National Highways Authority of India Dr. Sukhbir Singh Sandhu said that 3 projects worth over 2,240 crore rupees were inaugurated and foundation stones for 8 projects worth over 17,000 crore rupees were laid. More from a correspondent.
Projects including the 227-kilometer Ambala-Kotputli corridor and others are expected to significantly cut down travel time and provide connectivity to neighbouring states such as Rajasthan, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh and Punjab. It is to be noted that 10,000 crore rupees compensation for land acquisition associated with these projects has been deposited directly into the accounts of recipients. Mr. Gadkari thanked the state government, NHAI and other stakeholders for their cooperation. He said that projects connecting the state to Western India will boost industrialization.
दिल्ली मुंबई हाईवे 1 लाख करोड़ का हाईवे है और उसमें से करीब 55,000 करोड़ हम हरियाणा में खर्चा कर रहे हैं। तो स्वाभाविक रूप से ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण हाईवेज है और ये देश के विकास में जितने महत्वपूर्ण है उतने हरियाणा और पंजाब के लिए भी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। हिमाचल, उत्तराखंड, हरियाणा, पंजाब और कश्मीर, यहाँ से डायरेक्ट वेस्टर्न भारत को जो कनेक्टिविटी मिली है, दक्षिण भारत के लिए जो कनेक्टिविटी मिलेगी, इससे हरियाणा में इंडस्ट्रियल औद्योगिकरण का भी बहुत बड़ा विकास होगा।
He added that during the times of COVID-19, investment through the highway projects and corridors will assist in revival of the state's economy. Mr. Gadkari highlighted the need for positivity, saying that funds and resources are secondary if one has self-confidence and commitment to work. He also suggested that the state government may plan industrial clusters around the green corridors and a separate policy for agro-MSMEs.
We need to give more priority for rural, agriculture, tribal and aspirant districts, 115 aspirant districts. Actually, in this line, we are now planning to make industrial clusters like leather cluster, food clusters, chemical cluster, plastic cluster, different type of cluster we can make there. From designing to ancillary industries, everything will be there. Their water, power, transport and communication will be available. At the same time, connectivity to port, airport and railway station, that will be responsibility of NHI. We will acquire the land and with the joint venture partnership, even we can make this type of clusters. So that is going to increase our export.
Union Minister of State for Road Transport and Highways, General V.K. Singh, hailed Mr. Gadkari's vision for road infrastructure and the progress made since 2014. He said that before 2014, Haryana had 2,000 kilometers of national highways, which have now been increased to over 3,500 kilometers. Chief Minister thanked Mr. Gadkari for the massive investment in road infrastructure. Shantanu Pratap Singh, AIR News, Chandigarh.
Union Ministers of State Ratan Lal Kataria, Krishan Lal Gujjar and Rao Inderjit Singh also addressed the event. Ministers from the Haryana State Government, Members of Parliament from Haryana and MLAs from the state were also present. Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju today interacted with Youth Affairs and Sports Ministers and senior officials of 17 states and union territories over video conference to plan a collaborative roadmap to further sports and youth-related activities across the country. During the meeting, the activities undertaken during COVID-19 were also reviewed.
The government today said the COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 63.02% and a total of 5,71,460 people have recovered in the country so far. In the past 24 hours, 17,989 people have recovered from COVID-19. Presently, the total number of active cases is 3,11,565. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said a total of 28,498 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 9,06,752. In a single day, 553 deaths have been reported, taking the nationwide toll to 23,727. The case fatality rate in the country is 2.61%. 30 states and union territories have lower fatality rate than the national average. In terms of recovery rate, top 5 states and union territories are Ladakh, Delhi, Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh and Haryana, wherein the recovery rate is above 75%. When it comes to the number of people recovered from COVID-19, Maharashtra stands at top position, followed by Tamil Nadu and Delhi. There are 20 states and union territories that have better recovery rate than the national average of 63.02%. The least recovery rate is reported from Meghalaya, followed by Arunachal Pradesh and Karnataka. Indian Council of Medical Research (ICMR) said that a total of 286,247 tests were conducted by various laboratories in the country in the last 24 hours. This is the highest number of tests conducted in the country in one day since the outbreak of the pandemic in the country. So far, 1,20,92,503 tests have been conducted. As of now, a total of 1,206 laboratories across India have been given approval to conduct COVID-19 tests that include 853 government laboratories and 353 private laboratory chains. The Delhi government has said a total of 1,246 new confirmed cases of coronavirus have been reported in the city during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 1,13,740. There are 19,017 active cases in Delhi. The Delhi Health Bulletin yesterday confirmed that a total of 91,312 people affected by coronavirus have been cured so far, and the recovery rate has reached 80.28% in the city. In the Union Territory of Chandigarh, 29 new cases of COVID-19 were reported positive and 6 patients have been discharged in the last 24 hours. With this, the total number of cases has risen to 588, out of which 423 have recovered, 157 are under treatment and 8 have died. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, there has been no let-up in the COVID-19 cases being reported. Kashmir Division continues to show an upward trend, while Srinagar district has been showing the sharp spike relentlessly. However, the district administration Srinagar has been tirelessly reaching out to the people and has been seeking their help so as to contain the spread of COVID-19 furthermore.
In Assam, 1,001 new positive cases were detected in the state in the last 24 hours. Health Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma in a tweet said that 513 cases are reported in Guwahati city alone. Guwahati is under lockdown since the 29th of last month. Assam has 6,348 active cases as of now. Over 11,000 persons have recovered and 40 persons have succumbed to COVID-19. Mizoram has reported 2 more positive cases for coronavirus, and with this tally has reached 233, while active cases are 82. An official statement said both new patients were in quarantine, having returned from other states. 151 patients have so far been discharged after recovery. So far, 16,952 samples were tested in the state. Due to surge in COVID-19 cases in Karnataka after Unlock 2, the state government has decided to impose lockdown from today evening till July 22nd morning. The lockdown will be imposed in Bengaluru urban and rural districts, Dharwad and Dakshin Kannada districts. Our correspondent says that other districts will take a call on the lockdown depending on the prevailing situation. More from a correspondent.
Due to surge in the pandemic, especially in Bengaluru urban district, the Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa took the lockdown decision on Saturday after consulting the experts. Due to growing COVID cases, 4,117 streets, 454 apartments, 20 slums and 1 hotel are declared as containment zones in Bengaluru. The availability of beds and ambulances have become a big challenge. The government has pressed into service over 400 ambulances in the city and increased the hospital bed availability to about 3,000. The Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike has introduced a dashboard that shows real-time bed availability for COVID patients, but with 15,052 active cases and growing, the challenge is really huge. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In a series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of leading medical experts on COVID-19. Speaking to AIR News, Dr. Saurav Mehrotra, consultant at Mental Health Division in Medanta Hospital, emphasized that people should indulge in positive addictions like reading books, music activities and exercise.
Positive addictions would include the creative arts such as drawing, writing, painting, qualify as positive addictions. Music is positive addictions. People who are interested in dancing, that's a positive addiction. Playing a game with family members has the beneficial effect of both the social interaction as well as the fun of the game. Some people like to do gardening, some people like to do cooking. All of these qualify as positive addictions and have a significant benefit in reducing the stress. Then social connection is very important.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. The commander-level talks between India and China begins at Chushul in eastern Ladakh for second phase of disengagement along LAC. Govind Singh Dotasara will be the next Rajasthan State Congress President. Sachin Pilot and two other ministers removed from the cabinet. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's strong political will, economic reforms are being sustained in the country. Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari inaugurates new economic corridor projects worth 20,000 crore rupees in Haryana. Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju interacts with sports ministers of 17 states and union territories to plan a collaborative roadmap, and COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 63.02%. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
The Union Health Ministry has pushed for an increased expenditure on public health. In a meeting with the 15th Finance Commission, the Union Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, has highlighted that the government aims at gradually increasing the public health expenditure to 2.5% of the GDP by the year 2025. The minister asserted that the outlay for primary health expenditure will also be made nearly two-thirds of the total public health expenditure in the country. In Bihar, AIIMS Patna has started human trial of coronavirus vaccine on 10 volunteers selected by the hospital authorities. Several people offered to take part in the trial, but only 10 were selected for the process. The first dose has been given to the selected people, and after an interval of 14 days, the second dose will be given. Doctors are keeping a strict vigil on the people who have taken the dose of vaccine. A team of doctors has been constituted for that. After completion of the scheduled period, checkup of people will be undertaken for after effects of the vaccine. The vaccine has been jointly developed by the National Institute of Virology, Pune, and Hyderabad-based Bharat Biotech International Limited in collaboration with the Indian Council of Medical Research. It is the first indigenous vaccine developed in India.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal today inaugurated the second plasma bank in Lok Nayak Hospital, Delhi, for the treatment of COVID-19 patients. The first plasma bank was launched at the Institute of Liver and Biliary Sciences, New Delhi, on the 2nd of July of this month. Recently, Mr. Kejriwal said that the trials have shown that the plasma therapy can help in the recovery of corona patients. Our correspondent reports that the interested donors can call 1031 and can WhatsApp at 8800007722 to donate the plasma. Afterwards, doctors will get in touch with interested donors and will confirm the eligibility. A BJP delegation today met President Ramnath Kovind and demanded dismissal of the TMC government in West Bengal. The delegation apprised the President about political killings in West Bengal. The body of Hemtabad MLA Devendranath Ray was found hanging. In Kerala, teachers are using augmented reality to make online classes more effective and interesting for the children.
In Kerala's Malappuram district, the children of kindergarten are all excited to see lifelike animals popping up beside their teacher, thanks to augmented reality, which is being used in online classes, adding a whole new dimension to learning for children. Shyam Bengalur, a social science teacher at the AUM AUP school, has introduced this state-of-art technology in the classes. Mr. Shyam has succeeded in creating an augmented reality for the virtual class by superimposing graphics, audio and sensory enhancements. The technology superimposes a computer-generated image on a user's view of the real world, thus providing a composite view. Looking at the success of the lessons, many schools across Kerala are trying to replicate the same. The academic year in Kerala had commenced on June 1st, completely online this year, by the name First Bell through TV and YouTube channels. Mayusha for AIR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
Madhya Pradesh has emerged on top in implementing the Pradhan Mantri Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi PM Swanidhi scheme. The scheme is being implemented in the state to help the street vendors to continue their business. Apart from urban street vendors, a scheme to provide interest-free assistance of 10,000 rupees is also being implemented for the street vendors of rural areas in the state. More from our correspondent.
The Pradhan Mantri Street Vendors Nidhi Yojana has been launched to provide benefit to beneficiaries of 376 urban bodies of the state. So far, 15,500 cases have been approved in the state. An interest-free loan of amount 15 crore 50 lakh has been approved. As many as 8,70,330 street vendors have registered under the scheme. Interest-free working capital of 10,000 rupees will be provided for 1 year. A maximum special subsidy of 1,200 rupees will also be given in a year on conducting digital transactions. On timely repayment of the amount, beneficiaries will be able to get working capital of maximum 20,000 rupees in the next year. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said India is among the most open economies in the world. He was interacting with the CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, through video conferencing yesterday. The Prime Minister said Indians are adjusting to and adopting technology at a rapid pace. Mr. Modi and Mr. Pichai spoke on a wide range of subjects, particularly leveraging the power of technology to transform the lives of India's farmers, youngsters and entrepreneurs. Mr. Modi also spoke about the recent steps taken by the government towards reforming agriculture and creating new job opportunities. The Prime Minister said he was delighted to know more about the efforts of Google in several sectors, be it in education, learning, digital payments and more. Sundar Pichai briefed the Prime Minister about new products and initiatives of Google in India. He mentioned the launch of Artificial Intelligence Research Lab in Bengaluru while highlighting the benefits of Google's flood forecasting efforts.
Human Resource and Development Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank today said that the results of Class 10th CBSE board examinations will be announced tomorrow. In a tweet, he said the results of Class 10th CBSE board examinations will be announced tomorrow. He wished all the students best of luck. Yesterday, the Central Board of Secondary Education declared the result of Class 12th. In Karnataka, NABARD has extended a grant assistance of 221.89 crore rupees to support 298 watershed projects in over 3 lakh hectares, benefiting 66,500 families. The state has about 75% of rain-fed area. According to NABARD press release, the projects have resulted in improving the crop productivity, diversification, soil and water conservation, and socio-economic condition of the beneficiaries. To mitigate the COVID-19 impact on rural population, NABARD has released 2,200 crore rupees in the state to the cooperative and regional rural banks under a special line of credit over and above the normal limits. NABARD in Karnataka observed its 39th Foundation Day yesterday.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has reviewed the development works and the COVID situation in his Gandhinagar Lok Sabha constituency through video conferencing yesterday. During the meeting, he directed the officials of Gandhinagar and Ahmedabad to complete the rapid COVID-19 testing to check the spread of coronavirus. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah directed the officials of Gandhinagar and Ahmedabad falling under his Lok Sabha constituency to complete the rapid COVID-19 test. He also instructed the district officials to take care of all persons kept quarantined in their homes. Mr. Shah also directed the municipal and local bodies to take care of societies and localities kept under the micro-containment zones. He said that all persons with high body temperature and low oxygen levels should be hospitalized. He said that health status of all COVID-19 patients should be checked twice a day. Mr. Shah asked the health officials to ensure that the death rate of COVID-19 comes down below 0.75%. Meanwhile, Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation has sealed 376 pan shops for not following social distancing and other norms. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program today will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Dr. Tanmay Talukdar, Professor and Head Respiratory Diseases, Lady Hardinge Medical College will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards.
In Assam, all the major rivers, including the Brahmaputra, are in spate. Flood water caused major damages to infrastructures, including embankments, and destroyed crops. Nearly 22 lakh people affected due to surging water in 22 districts. More from a correspondent.
The Brahmaputra is flowing above the danger level at 5 places, including Guwahati. Thousands of people are moved to safer and higher places due to floods. 95% areas of the World Heritage Site, Kaziranga National Park, are also underwater. Chief Minister Sarvanand Sonowal, Union Minister Rameshwar Teli, and State Water Resource Minister Keshav Mahanta are visiting flood and erosion hit Jonai today. Mr. Sonowal met flooded people at Murkom Select Girls High School and has instructed administration to take proper care of the inmates. The Chief Minister will also hold review meetings with Water Resource Department and Dhemaji District Administration. Manas Pratim Sharma, AIR News, Guwahati.
Now let us take a look at the weather for today. The national capital Delhi may witness partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder lightning. The minimum temperature was recorded at 28 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 39 degrees. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The city witnessed a minimum temperature of 25 degrees Celsius and will have a maximum of around 31 degrees. In Chennai, the temperature will hover between 26 and 34 degrees Celsius. The city will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers with a minimum temperature of 27 degrees Celsius. The maximum temperature will be nearly 32 degrees. In Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum will be around 35 degrees. The city is likely to have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Srinagar, the temperature will hover between 16 and 31 degrees Celsius. The city is expected to witness mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Gilgit, the minimum temperature was recorded at 20 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 30 degrees. It is expected to have partly cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. Muzaffarabad may see mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The place witnessed a minimum temperature of 21 degrees Celsius, while maximum temperature will be around 37 degrees. Chandigarh will have thunderstorm with rain. The minimum temperature was recorded at 27 degrees Celsius and maximum temperature will be around 35 degrees. Bangalore is expected to have temperatures between 21 and 29 degrees Celsius. Generally cloudy sky with light rain expected in the city. Ahmedabad will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature in the city was 26 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to be around 34 degrees. Bhopal is expecting generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 32 degrees. Partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers in Patna. The temperature will fluctuate between 27 and 33 degrees Celsius. Thunderstorm with rain expected in Dehradun. The temperature will be 26 and 34 degrees Celsius. With minimum temperature of 26 degrees and maximum 33 degrees Celsius, Guwahati will have generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers.
The World Health Organization has warned that the pandemic is worsening globally and that there will be no return to the old normal for the foreseeable future. The Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, said that the virus spread is worsening in many countries. He called for countries to come up with comprehensive strategies to deal with the pandemic and noted that roughly half of all new cases are in the Americas. His remarks came a day after Florida shattered the record among U.S. states for the largest single-day increase in new confirmed cases with more than 15,000. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. The commander-level talks between India and China begins at Chushul in eastern Ladakh for second phase of disengagement along LAC. Govind Singh Dotasara will be next Rajasthan State Congress President. Sachin Pilot and 2 other ministers removed from the cabinet. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's strong political will, economic reforms are being sustained in the country. Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari inaugurates new economic corridor projects worth 20,000 crore rupees in Haryana. Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju interacts with sports ministers of 17 states and union territories to plan a collaborative roadmap. And COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 63.02%. And with that, we end the midday news.